Thank you to anybody who is able to jump in on this or see what's going on. I am going to try to do this in a couple of different ways. I'm going to watch and see what's happening on LinkedIn while continuing to do the thing that we're doing over here on YouTube. Whiteboard Wednesday. Rather than do the recordings each Wednesday, I've decided we're going to go and test doing a live version of this and see who we get to show up. My goal is to launch this sometime between 6 o'clock in the morning my time and about 9:30 in the morning my time, which is 9 o'clock Eastern, 12:30 Eastern, somewhere in that time period. We'll see if we get these things scheduled out a little bit better. The focus this week has been around building out your personal operating system. How can you build a system so that you can properly allocate resources? And Alana Fink joined the Leader Lab yesterday and helped me gain a new perspective of what ends up happening when it comes to burnout. And one of the things that she shared is when the expectations of work exceed the resources that are available. Expectations exceed the resources that are available. When you think about operating systems help make sure that those resources get moved into the right place, right time, right area. So if you build your own personal operating system, you can get yourself into a situation where you can start to anticipate where resources may or may not be available and properly allocate those resources. So let's go to the whiteboard. Again, an operating system, a system itself, let's just focus there. A system is the combination of both process and tools. So I look at systems. The system is the combination of process and tools. We all have different systems that we potentially work in. Now, there's other things that you can add in here. You can add in people are in the system, and people actually come over to this area, which is resources. So when we start building out our operating system will help us properly allocate resources in the context of process and tools to achieve a specific objective. So again, operating systems or system is the combination of process, tools, and people. The operating system is the thing that helps make sure that we get the resources moving in the right place at the right time to achieve the results that we want to, use those things effectively. One of the operating systems you're probably most familiar with is the operating system on your machine. So you have this operating system on your machine that helps you move memory resources, move energy, move power resources to help make sure that things happen quickly and you can do multiple things at once. If you're anything like me, you have a number of different tabs open in a number of different browser windows, and Chrome can be a resource constraint on whatever operating system you're working through. So this is what we do from an operating system perspective. In the kickoff to the week, in the Learn, Think, Act, I focused on some of the process type stuff. Let's first move into some tools that we can use. When you think about leadership and challenges that happen either inside your business or inside your family, typically those challenges happen because there's a miss on expectations. And if you look at burnout as more expectations than there are resources available, as Alana shared with the Leader Lab yesterday, and we know that a lot of our challenges happen around expectations, we can start to look at it and say, okay, well, how do we solve for the expectation challenge? Well, one of the things that I think we run into when it comes into expectations, specifically around meetings, is when we come into a meeting, what are the expectations of all of the people that are involved? So when we do our call plan, who is going to be in the room? What do we anticipate are their objectives? What do we know are our objectives? And what are our expected desired next steps? What do we want to get to from a next step perspective? When you put this together, you build your call plan out, you can become really clear on your expectations and anticipating the expectations of others. Then you can start to look at it and say, are our expectations aligned? If they're not aligned, then what do we need to do to get them aligned? You've heard me talk about this in the context of meetings and specific jobs to be done. And I think this is one of the, if you start applying this inside your business or even with your family, heck, even with yourself, as you start communicating with self, start to determine what are your specific jobs to be done of a meeting or jobs to be done of communication. My view is one is to convey information. Now, if we're conveying information and we're not expecting any kind of feedback, we can put that into an email or we can put it into a video. You can record a video like this. There's some really good tools where you can get information out there at scale. So we convey information. The benefit of a meeting where you have people together in a synchronous manner where they're all in the same, occupying the same time and space, is that you can convey information and get questions, answers, feedback, and comments. You get questions from the group, you're able to share answers and everybody gains a better perspective. You get feedback from the group around what they understand or what they don't understand or whether or not they think the thing is the right thing, or you get comment. And with that loop, now you can have an effective meeting where you're not going to waste a lot of people's time. That's one job to be done. The second kind of job to be done in this meeting environment are decisions. We might need to make a decision. So in a decision-making meeting, if we're working on making a decision, one of the things that's really important is for us to understand what the decision is that we need to make. And the second piece is how. What's our criteria? So what decision are we going to make? What's our criteria? How are we going to make the decision? If I've got an operating system and I don't know if I'm talking about conveying information or planning to make a decision in a meeting, how can I properly allocate resources and make sure I get the right resources in place? This can get really complicated, and it will as we add more stuff to the whiteboard. But when we break it down into smaller pieces and say, this area we're talking about communication, these two areas we're talking about different types of meetings, we can start to get more effective with resources. This is not theoretical, it's practical. You can start applying it in your business. Think about meetings. Just take a look at the meetings you have scheduled for the rest of the day. Of those meetings, is the objective to convey information and then get feedback? Yes or no? If yes, good, do that. Make sure you've got the right people in the right room doing that, creating space for that engagement. If no, is the meeting intended to make a decision, be used to make a decision? If yes, then make sure you've got the right people in the room, you know what the decision is and you know how you're going to make it, the criteria. And then the third type of meeting is, and this is the one where I am fortunate enough to help people with these types of meetings or collaborative meetings where we want to align on something. So the next type would be a collaborative meeting. These are really cool and powerful because you can actually work through things together as a team, either to solve a problem, design a process, or align on strategy and tactics to achieve a result. So I think there are three jobs to be done of any meeting. The mistake that you make inside your business, inside your organization, across your team, is you try to do all of these things at once, or you lack clarity around which one you're focused on. My recommendation, solve for a single job to be done. We're either conveying information and expecting feedback loops, we're working to make a decision, or we're collaborating to achieve a result. Those types of meetings. And you still apply the same call plan framework to that environment. So we're making sure that we have right resources. This becomes part of our operating system, right resources in the right place to achieve the results that we're looking for. And we use a tool like the call plan to go through and do it. Another tool that exists out there, and I'm not seeing much in the way of the chat right now, but I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anything that's out there. Doing a quick look over here, multitasking. Another tool that we might want to use in this kind of environment is, let's say that we are going to make an investment decision inside a meeting. So we want to make a decision, do we put or do we allocate additional resources to something? What I want to know is what's the specific problem that we're looking to solve related to this decision? It looks like I'm a little bit high up here. So what is the specific problem that we're looking to solve for with this decision? You could also look at this and say what specific decision we're looking to make. The next piece I want to know is, why is it important to do this? Why is it important to solve for this thing? Business impact. Why is it important to make this decision? If I know my what and my why, then I can get into how. So what's the product, service, solution thing that we're going to do? Where are we going to put, what are we going to do next? So how, and then the last piece we can get into are resources. And this is going to be money, this could be time, this could be people. So I want to know what, why, how, and resources. If I know those 4 things, I can make an effective decision. And this comes from a proposal planning tool. Think about proposals that you put out in front of customers. Many of you will put out a proposal in front of the customer and you'll talk about all the things that you do, you and your business do, why you should work with them, all of that kind of stuff. The reality is they want to get into this piece, the pricing piece, and they want to, in order to justify the pricing, they probably want some clarity around why, like demonstrate that you know something about them, you've given a crap to learn something about them, why it's important to solve, and they want to know how things are going to be solved. If you don't have those things in your proposal and you're focused mainly on you as a business, you're doing it wrong. And you're working kind of in the stone ages of, hey, I'm going to put together this really fancy proposal sheet that everybody's going to move to the back end and look at pricing anyway. So this is how we make financial decisions, investment decisions. That's an investment decision-making tool that would apply in this type of meeting where we've got resources together who are coming together to make a specific decision. When we apply tools with skill, we can create leverage and move the world. If we don't have the skill to use the tool, or we don't know the job to be done, then we're just throwing tools and resources at things. And this is one of the things that's got me pretty frustrated around a lot of the language that's being used on relative to anything focused on AI in the workplace and how it's just going to change everything. You know what? It is. It's going to change. But what it won't change is it won't change your fundamentals. It won't change how you show up with people. It won't change the importance of communication. It won't change the importance of being really clear around what you're attempting to do and what you're trying to solve. It's going to be a new tool that will help you do things better and faster. And if it's not applied the right way, you're just going to do things faster that may or may not be better. So a couple of tools: call plan tool, decision-making tool. Another decision-making tool that I like to use are 2x2s. You can go pretty deep on the Eisenhower matrix or my energy versus impact matrix. Since I started with a little bit of a focus on burnout, if I'm doing things that suck the life out of me or reduce energy, it's really hard to continue to meet and perform at the expectations that people are looking for. If I'm doing things that build me up, build energy, like a conversation I had with someone earlier today, a one-on-one conversation I had with someone earlier today, those things give me energy, that fills my cup. And as it's been said many times, you can't fill or pour from an empty cup. So let's figure out what are some of the things out there that suck the life out of you. What are some of the things that build you up, the activities that you're working on? Of those things that either suck the life out of you or build you up, which ones are low impact, low on the change side of things? Which ones are high impact? And then for me, how do I find a way to spend more time in that high impact, high energy space? Do the things I'm meant to do. Stop what I wouldn't start. Jim Collins' thing. Do what you're made for. And he got that from Peter Drucker. So we build out our tools, we use our tools, we apply them in the context of process inside an organization, we use the resources that are available to us, and you can build your own operating system, whether it's inside your business or for yourself. Here's the mistake I think a lot of people make. A lot of people think that they have to use somebody else's operating system. How the heck can you use somebody else's operating system? You don't know they don't have the background and detail on who you are or what you do or how you do it. They don't know what the expectations are that you're setting out there. They don't know what you value. What if you actually built your own operating system, built your own personal operating system that helped you get better at decision-making, problem solving, communication, design, execution? That's what we've built together and I've put together over a career of fortunately working with a number inside large enterprises, working as a solutions consultant or customer service rep with large enterprises, working as a sales rep with large enterprises, and then leading teams who sell into large enterprises. You start to build your own systems and process, and that's all where the foundation of all of the catalyst sale type stuff that you see usually on the left-hand side of the whiteboard, which include things like the game plan or the hexagon or some of these 2x2s as we go through. So I can assure you, you can build your own system. You don't need to use somebody else's. Now you can take the best parts of somebody else's system and make it your own, which is a Bruce Lee quote. So if you'd like to go deeper on building out personal operating systems, take a look at the Learn, Think, Act from Sunday. Rewatch this video, add some comments below about some of the things that you're struggling with, or send me a direct message on the things that you're struggling with, and we'll see if there's a way that I might be able to help you break through that challenge that's sitting right in front of you so you can move on to the next and apply the right resources in the right order to achieve the results that you're looking for. Let me know what you think about the live version of Whiteboard Wednesday, things that you want to see up on the board. I don't see any comments out there right now. So since I don't see any comments, I'm going to wrap things up here. And if you are looking to find your catalyst, if you want to find your catalyst, you can find it at findmycatalyst.com. Thank you. All right, I got to get better at ending the stream. So find your catalyst at findmycatalyst.com. Thank you.